everybody, and this is another episode of False Starts with Bill Blank and Chris Shipley. I am your host, Chris. As always, I got my man Bill. Bill, what is up? How you doing?
Swell. How are you?
Swell.
I have one thing to ask you really quick.
Yes.
So when you put the intro on,
Yep.
Can you still see me?
Yes. Or no, I can see you down below. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Because as soon as you turn that on, I've totally picked my nose.
No, nobody can see that.
Like, I was like,
but I can.
Yeah, and I was wondering if you saw me. I didn't realize you, like, obviously I don't give a shit, but
it's hard for me to take my eyes off of you, Bill.
It's kind of that, like, like the sanctuary of your car, you forget that the windows are see-through.
Right.
Like, I've totally picked my nose in the
I've
car.
done that, though, like on a Zoom call or whatever, and like, you forget, you just think you're on a regular phone call. Next thing you know, you're like rubbing your nose or you're half a knuckle up there. And you
I don't understand why people try to act like they don't pick their nose. Why is that? Why is it a thing to pretend that you don't pick your nose? Everybody picks their nose. Everybody.
I don't know that there's a stigma to it. I think it's whatever you do with it afterwards is the problem.
Why?
Well, I mean,
you don't fucking wipe it on the wall, but like,
there's a protocol. You can't just flick it. Like, you got to do something with it.
Well, I mean, I'm not saying you like sit around like knuckle deep in front of everybody, but like why do we shame little kids about picking their nose? Because they're gonna wipe it on the wall. Like, I get
right,
it.
Yeah.
But why don't we tell them, like, hey, find a Kleenex and put that in a Kleenex? Like, I'm an adult. I understand that sometimes a Kleenex blowing your nose doesn't do the trick. Sometimes you got to get up.
You just got to get up in there.
Yeah.
I agree.
So explain that to a kid instead of making them feel like an asshole, like a dirty little asshole when they pick their nose. Like, this is a mental health podcast. These are fucking things. This is childhood trauma shit.
Starting early.
My aunt used to fuck with me about picking my nose when I was a little kid and made me feel like shamed me about it, like made me feel shitty about myself because I picked my nose.
My uncles would just make fun of my weight.
My son, well, I mean, that could at least yield positive results. They could shame you into being more healthy. This is fucking nose picking. I'm just saying, like, so my son will tell you this. I guarantee he remembers this. I'm pretty sure we've talked about it, but when he was little, my sister was getting on him about picking his nose. And so I pulled him aside and I was like, hey, buddy, everybody picks their nose. I was like, don't ever feel shitty about that. Like, everybody does, because that's how she talked. She really did like shame him. So I'm like, hey, dude, fuck her. Pick your nose all you want. Just don't let anybody see you do it. Like don't sit behind. Like, it's like a religion thing, like the Catholic religion almost. Like, now, like how you like when you're Catholic, you feel bad about jerking off. Like, you're in the other room. You know what I'm saying?
I feel like that's the same argument you can make about masturbation.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, like, don't do it in front of everybody.
Yeah, but like, but if you're religious, like as a kid, you're fucking in there like, oh fuck, I'm going to hell, but this is too good, right? You do it anyway. And then you have the loophole. You can actually go to confession and tell them that you did it and it's okay. So that.
That's
like, I see, like, and that's the thing. Like, why does everybody think God is that dumb? Like, God doesn't see that you're just exploiting a loophole. Like, this all-knowing, all-encompassing being doesn't. I realize we did religion last time, but like, this all-knowing, all-encompassing being is that fucking stupid that he's like gonna smite you for jerking off until you go to confession on Sunday, and then all of a sudden all is forgiven. That's fucking bullshit. I don't see how anybody doesn't know that. Anyway, the point is, I didn't want my son to be in his room by himself picking his nose, thinking he's gonna go to hell for it. At the end of the day,
you're a good father, Bill. What can I say?
Well,
I've been coughing all afternoon. I can feel it coming on all night tonight now.
So yeah, we'll get to our guest soon.
Yep.
I've been obviously I'm repping Caitlin today.
As
Obviously,
you should.
very very proud. Fucking that was one of those games though, you just watched it and you just felt like it was kind of a matter of time the whole time. Like in the women's game, dude, somebody that's 6'7" doesn't even have to be good.
Right.
Like and this girl's good. I don't say that to act like she's not, but
right.
Like, she doesn't even really have to be to get virtually every rebound.
Right.
Because they just like people don't get off the floor like that,
It's not thought
like in the men's game, somebody can be 7'6", but somebody can be 6'9" and out jump that guy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But anyway.
I thought first quarter when their first quarter lead kind of bled away, I thought that's probably
that was
like
kind
you had
of
if you could have kept that lead and then just matched them, shot for shot. But once
I thought the third quarter was the key, like they had to stay in there. Hopefully within like 2 or 3 points when the fourth quarter started, and they wore down. I mean, they only play 6-7 people, but I don't think that's really that big of a factor because it's like, dude, they're in shape. They can play the whole game.
Right.
It's so not.
You're a known Hawk fan, obviously, and you've made it quite clear that you don't give two shits about Iowa State. You could name two people that are on an Iowa State team.
I know Audie Crooks. I can name her.
So the question is that there was a huge thing on Twitter this weekend about Caitlin. Well, it's been going on for a while. There's been a lot of Iowa State fans that have rooted for Iowa and rooted for Caitlin Clark.
Yeah, I agree.
And apparently,
I've seen that a lot.
And apparently, if you do that, you're not a true fan of your school.
I think that's a shitty thing to say to people that are rooting for the same team as you.
Right.
Like, that's kind of like, that's like telling your teammates they're assholes for giving props to somebody else that's really good.
Right.
Like, this is a transcendent time. This is a transcendent thing. And this is an Iowa girl.
Right.
It'd be different.
From Des Moines. Yep.
Yeah. And I think maybe less people would probably have jumped on that bandwagon. Like for the time being, if it wasn't women, obviously. Yeah. Because part of that's what's transcending this is everybody's on board with how much she's growing the women's game.
Right.
And she's an Iowa girl and they're proud of that. Like it's just unprecedented. And it also, I think less people would feel that way or less people would have jumped on the bandwagon if she wasn't an Iowa girl. Just like playing for Iowa, but from South Carolina,
right, or whatever. Yep.
I think that would have lessened that a little bit too.
Yeah.
But because she's just doing things people have never seen before, at least offensively.
Yeah.
And people have celebrated, but I've seen plenty of Iowa State fans just hating on her the whole time.
Oh,
too.
Sure.
So. But
because she's our rival, and there's under no circumstances should I ever root for her. And look, that's fine too. If that's how you want to fan, that's fine.
That's kind of like fun hating, though. I think people were having fun watching her.
I did.
She's the underdog. Everybody, despite the fact that she was breaking these records and doing everything, she's the underdog the whole time doing this. She's a girl from she's a girl from Iowa. That's something you don't hear of. And then they're taking down every giant on the way there.
Yeah.
Like every one of these games, not so much this year, but leading up to this year and into they're the underdog.
I think what bothered me,
even like UConn, they normally shouldn't beat UConn. But,
right. I think what bothered me the most was the people that were like, well, she's a terrible sport and she's demonstrative and she argues with refs. And I'd be like, you know what? If she was a man, you would have zero problem with that.
No, it's just fire.
She's competitive as fuck is what she is. Travis
I agree with
this
that
morning
too.
Was talking about how he would equate her and the movement that she has now similar to what Michael Jordan was and Tiger Woods and what they brought to those games.
I agree. That's what I think.
I think so too.
I think she's
like
I think
Tiger Woods was Tiger Woods, right?
Yeah,
agreed.
I think that's the comparison to make, in my opinion, because Tiger Woods was a very unlikely person to even be there in the first place, and then on top of it, unlikely to be the best.
And took it by storm. I mean,
And
just absolutely.
And so
It was
you
a
couldn't take your
firestorm.
eyes off it, and it raised the purses. And
Yep.
now second place in a mediocre tournament's $1 million. So like that was unheard of back then.
Yep. All
So
right.
a lot more guys can make a living playing golf. But yeah, we need to. But I'm glad we touched on that. Like that.
Me too.
I was so happy the last couple years. Really getting into women's basketball and Caitlin Clark, and it was very easy, obviously, as a Hawkeye fan, to jump on board. But I never gave that much of a shit about women's basketball up until now. It just wasn't entertaining to me.
Right.
I would watch the Iowa women, like in the tournament and stuff.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't watch regular season games or anything, like not by appointment.
No.
So
no, and I think I've appreciated the game more by watching the Iowa State women and the Iowa women, and the passing and it's a different type of game.
It's fun.
It is.
Kind of it's become more entertaining than like to watch the I don't think the college women are quite as much like more entertaining as a whole as the men,
right?
But I think the women college wise are more entertaining than the NBA.
Yes,
because the NBA is just so one-on-one, and we've gotten so enamored with the game being played above the rim that we've gotten away from execution.
Yep.
And the women's game is played below the rim, and so all the nuances are there. And you can see why the coaches like coaching it better.
Yep.
And stuff like that. But
anyway,
100%. With that, I'm going to bring on our guest. We're doing the whole girl power thing, so we might as well have a female guest tonight, right?
That's right.
We haven't had a female in a while. And, this being our mental health podcast and centered on men being open and honest about their mental health, especially in their relationships, so that they can help keep their marriages together, different things like that by being honest and open about how they're feeling. So it's good to have this perspective. And this person is one of my favorite humans. We go back quite a ways now, at least 15 years. And we've done a lot of shows together. She's a comic from Omaha, kind of my home away from home in the comedy business. I got a lot of Omaha friends. She's always been one of those people that makes it feel that way. A mother of 6, and hilarious, open, honest, great person, great human. So please let's welcome Heather Jones.
Hey! Oh God! I thought I was ready.
Dude, it's not a fucking comb. You're not a bald man.
Ridiculous. I'm just.
Just don't. How about you not care about it?
Right.
I'm gonna eat my beans, and then I'm just gonna.
He's gonna eat a bowl of beans. Wow. Heather's what you call a nervous eater.
We just got off the road a couple hours ago and I hadn't eaten anyway. I thought, I
just
wanted
a bowl
to keep
of
up
beans.
Quick protein power. You know what I mean? Like,
do beans have protein?
I think.
Is there a lot of protein in beans?
Isn't there?
Maybe
fiber.
Maybe not. Maybe not
fiber.
baked beans. I don't know what's in baked beans. I just thought it would be good and filling. I had a hankering for it.
I don't hate the rationale.
I thought I could eat it without chewing, but I don't know if I can because I can't hear my. Anyway, I'm good. I'm good. Thank you. I'm good. I don't know about the slate situation.
How was the Eclipse trip? Where'd you
go? We went.
Oh, is that where you went?
Yeah, we went to Potosi, Missouri, and then we watched it down in Jackson. That's right. Jackson, which is the town that saw it in 2017 total. So they're the one that both paths overlapped and they happened to. It was just, and we just happened to end up there. I mean, the weather was, you know what I mean? We didn't plan it. We like the day before is when we decided which way to go.
Was there way too much. A spot in Illinois or something too, or something?
I think it went up through south, I don't know. It went up through like Missouri, and then arc towards like I know it went through Ohio and then Pennsylvania and towards Niagara
Gotcha.
but I don't know what part of. I think Indianapolis maybe, but maybe not. I don't.
Yeah, I had a friend that I thought went somewhere in Illinois. Anyway,
This is
was
too
it
much
life?
about the.
Was it life changing? Like what? How was it? Was
Mhm.
it? It was life changing.
It was good. We saw the one in 2017, so it was. I thought it was like a cool like family.
Oh, so you could recreate a pic? Did you
Yeah.
recreate a picture?
No, not at
Oh,
all.
God, I'm
We
so
didn't get
glad you're
anybody.
not that kind of asshole. So,
But it was
did
nice.
you
It was
take?
like
But did all 6 kids go?
we didn't really take any pictures. We didn't. Last time my husband did like he does photography, like he's a videographer for a living. So he, set up a time lapse for our reaction and then set up, did all these composite. This time it was
Sure.
cool because we just kind of kept it. We had our iPhone and that was it. And then so it was nice. He did do some things with like trying to cut out one of the glasses and put it over the phone so he could. And he did do some nerd things. I don't know if this is interesting.
Where did you take all 6 kids?
No, only 3 could go this time. The other ones had work and school obligations, so they couldn't go. I felt bad too because they wanted to. And
Where are your age ranges now?
26 down to 13, almost 14 next week.
Oh man,
I know.
you are 4 years away from having them all off the
I
page.
know. And then my career will explode.
Oh, guaranteed.
Right? Yeah.
Just at the right time. Just
Right.
when you start
Just
getting bored.
biding my time.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I'll have. I don't know.
Well, you'll have no one to blame anymore.
You're right. I'm running out of excuses. It's true. That'll be the
So
thing.
did you guys fight? Did you guys
Oh,
fight?
of course.
Yeah.
Holy
They're
shit.
married, Bill.
Oh my God. It is yeah. I don't think we've made one road trip where somebody didn't where it's just like you're screaming, shut the fuck up.
If a married couple is not fighting on a road trip, then that road trip didn't happen.
Right. And it's not even like now the kids are taking over. So it's not even like we have time to fight with each other.
Right.
We're just refereeing them. and then we're just sniping. Then it's just like,
Right.
you created this.
And then and that's right. And that's
Right.
all it is at that point is you just want them to shut the fuck up.
Right. Yeah,
Like,
exactly.
You don't care what
Except-
they're fighting about. You don't care who's right about anything.
Right.
And then that's frustrating as fuck to them. Because
Yeah.
you're just like, just shut the fuck up. I don't care. But they both think they're right and they need validation.
Right. So they keep going at it until you just I was with 2 of my boys last week and they were like 21 and 20 and they were fighting and I just slammed on we were like on a like deserted street. Nobody was behind me. And I was just and they were screaming and I was just like I just slammed on the brakes and let them just
I love how you
I was going like 30 miles an hour. I was already going slow. I was like, you mother, I can't hit you, but I can
I love
make you jerk against your seatbelt. Again, they're over 20. I don't think it's illegal or child abuse. I mean, what are they going to take them away?
No, but it's fucking hilarious. That
Please.
you had to tell us that there wasn't any traffic before you.
Right?
Like,
Well, I
we're
don't
just
want to
gonna-
seem like it was crazy. It was calculated.
No,
like,
you are crazy. You are so fucking crazy. You think people can't tell? You've been on here for 9 minutes. You think people can't tell you're out of your fucking mind?
Thank you. I shouldn't need. There you go. My
Why do you
membership.
think you were like when we were off air talking, the first thing he said was who canceled. I was like, this is a mental health podcast. Nobody canceled. I wanted somebody who's batshit crazy to talk to.
Oh
I'm
God!
like, oh my God, Heather Jones.
Yeah, I'm not doing well at all. I am not functioning as an adult. My executive functioning is shot, and I don't even care. I'm just hoping it melds into dementia seamlessly. You know?
Yeah.
I want to
think
go to
that's-
one of those like old day where they put the old people in the daycares. Like that.
And then you
sounds...
just forget that you knew all of them when they leave.
My kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
Like they come visit you at the daycare.
oh, right. Well, somebody
And
will
then-
have to pick me up. I mean, it's a reverse because somebody will.
Oh,
like,
you
have
can't
to claim
stay
me.
there.
They're
couldn't-
not coming. They're not coming to visit you.
It would be an assisted living facility
Yeah,
if it
if
was.
they're
But she
putting you-
wouldn't care. She doesn't
Right.
remember who any of
I'll
them
just
are.
move. Yeah, just upgrade
See,
me to the.
see, I
nursing.
wonder, like, if a comic gets dementia, do we just start making shit up? Like,
I wonder. I've wondered
we-
about that.
go
What
just making
crazy
up our
shit?
family, like,
Oh, I'm like, what? Like, what? You know how, like, we'll like write like little sketches in our head or whatever.
Yeah.
And just a crazy,
or we'll think some
like,
of our jokes
premises.
were real, like some of our jokes from like
right?
stories we made up, and
Yeah.
we think they're real now.
I'm gonna be telling my great grandkid like I had sex with FDR and
Yeah.
Marilyn Monroe or something like that.
100%.
Like I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna
Yeah,
be
they
telling.
show up. The kids show up, and you're like,
I read
you're like,
one
"I
Cary
remember."
Grant memoir, and that's my life story to whoever. I'm gonna confuse the shit out of them.
You remember the teacher I dated that shit on my chest? Oh, that was a bit, Dad. That was a bit that you did in your 20s.
Ew.
Oh no, she shit on me. It smelled like shit. Like I used
I
to
paid
have.
her.
I used to have a bit. I remember. I don't know what made me think about it. I was just thinking about it the other day. I had this bit where I was talking about how I when I dated this teacher, I learned that I needed to edit and proofread when I texted.
Oh,
Because
dude, that's true.
I
Oh,
texted her. I might even said this on the show, and I was trying to be all romantic. Like she left, and I was trying to be all romantic, and I was like, "Hey, my shirt smells like you," but I left the R out of shirt. And so,
oh, my shit smells like you. I get it. I picked the wrong word to try to replay. That's funny. My shit smells like you.
yeah,
That's
and so like the last line that was basically the punch, but then there was like a tag where I'm like, so she texts back, maybe you shouldn't have rubbed it into my chest then, or something like that. So anyway, I was thinking like dementia Billy in 20 fucking 80 or whatever. Go, oh boy, that's lofty. 50 saying something like remember that girl shitting on my chest.
Yeah, it's gonna get crazy. I think that should be. Here's a tip: like anybody who's worried about anything they might say, just tell them you're a comedian. So, like, I think it should be get your jail out of free card. You know what I mean? Like, if you
get out of jail free card, like
There you go.
at the
You can just say whatever.
nursing home. Well, I think when you have dementia and you're in the home, I think you've already got the get out of jail free card.
right.
Like, I don't think anybody like. What do you think?
Nobody's holding you accountable there.
Yeah, but what do you think? Like, what do you think? Like a Confederate war general was like in the nursing home. Like, could you imagine? You walk
Oh my
into
God.
fucking Stonewall Jackson or whatever's room, and that was his
Right.
name, right? Stonewall Jackson.
Yeah.
Like, you walk into his room, and he's like got dementia, and he's 80, and just starts dropping all kinds of fucking racist shit to the nurses, and like, and everybody's like, "Oh well, it was a different time."
Dude, I can't. You saw I had a paper cut. He tried to cut off my arm because it's amputated in the field.
Hey, you remember when that cannonball just rolled through there, took out everybody's legs? Man, that was awesome. So,
It'd be
Let's
funny if
talk
he
about-
tried to like haze his nurse.
do you feel like, first of all, did you have 6 kids on purpose?
Yeah. Yeah.
See, this is where I can't
I know.
understand you.
I don't
Like,
like my
what-
older self goes like, what who the fuck did you think you were? Did you think that you had all your shit together and that you were like high functioning? Like, this
Well,
is me
that's not
talking to
the-
myself.
That's not the point, though. Like, you're never gonna have your shit together enough to have 6 kids on purpose.
Right.
Like, no one's ever
Right.
going to.
But
Like,
I
that's
had
just not a thing. Like, most of us never have our shit together enough to have one. And so, like,
Yeah.
I guess my question isn't that so much as why was it your dream to have that many? Was 6 the exact
That's
number?
a good question.
Were you like, I want to have a whole bunch of kids, like
Right.
somewhere in your childhood or somewhere you decided you wanted a whole bunch of kids?
What generational trauma has caused me to
Do you
have?
think that happened? Do you think it was? Do you think trauma made you have 6 kids?
I don't know. No, I don't. I think it was a combination. I think I
Is it
grew
because
up.
your mom had a favorite and you're like, I want to have way too many to have a favorite. I want to hate all of them equally.
Well, okay. So growing up, we moved to. So my parents are from West Virginia, and they both have large families. My mom came from a family of 6.
Because
Right.
they're inbred. Fucking.
Oh, fuck you! They are not. No, I am not. I am not.
We need a lot of farm hands over there in West Virginia. You know, work the farm.
Heather and I have really good YouTube offs. And we have to have another one soon. Remember when you were showing me the dolphin sex videos?
Oh, the lady with the scientist. Oh my god.
So we have the best YouTube offs. So
that might be me. Okay,
yeah. But there's like this inbred family in West Virginia. There's a whole bunch of YouTube videos about them, and it's fantastic. There's a guy that sits in the doorway and barks, and they are so horribly inbred.
It is bad.
Yeah.
It's so sad.
I've now YouTubed dolphin sex over here, and now it's going to ruin my algorithm.
No, the story behind that is fascinating.
I don't know, but the fourth video is Hank Hill gets raped by a dolphin. That's the fourth video.
Yeah.
You touched it below the belly button.
The other story that's fascinating about that is how Heather and I started watching those videos.
I don't remember how that happened.
You don't? I don't know if you I don't know if you want to say it publicly or not. I'm fine.
Well, I can't. I assume it has to do with. Hold on. I'm trying to see. No, I can't tell who's watching. Everyone. Okay, so I'll have family see this, but I'm almost 50, so if I can't own up to.
It was the night that we ate shrooms at my house.
Oh yeah. Okay. I thought it included like I'm like, I assume it has something to do with smoking weed at some point, but I don't know. Yeah. Okay. Yes.
And we were sitting on the floor in my living room, fucking crying, watching this lady who had to jerk off a dolphin to get it to do what she wanted.
God.
And it was the greatest. And then there was a guy who was in love with the dolphin.
Was there a guy that was was a different dude, right?
Yeah, there was that guy who we
went down the dolphin hole. It wasn't just that story. It was like a lot of dolphin human relationships explored.
We went down all the dolphin holes. Dolphins actually do have blowhole sex. A lot of people
do they really?
That. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, it's like, it's just like sucking dick for them. They have blowhole sex and shit. Like where they're just they're so much closer to being human, like brain wise and everything, and like they're really sexual animals.
Right.
So, like I've watched a few things about like there was this lady that did this whole thing about the sexual life of dolphins. And I think if I remember right, she was doing several animals. She did like different things, like the way sex works in the animal kingdom and different reasons for it and blah, blah, blah. And so she was basically talking about, most animals just breed. That's what they're doing. They're just breed.
Right.
But dolphins have sex for pleasure. And so so they do it all. It's just like us. Fucking if there's an orifice, we'll find it.
Right. That one dolphin that was the scientist dolphin, he killed himself because she like abandoned him. Like he
tried to kill him. He tried to kill himself. Yeah,
No. The dolphin killed itself.
Oh yeah, the dolphin. Yes, the dolphin
just
was
go
so
to the bottom
depressed.
and say,
it just went to the bottom and drowned itself.
God,
she was so depressed she couldn't have that human dick anymore. See, Chris.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to point out that this conversation started by asking Heather why she wanted 6 kids.
Blowhole sex. That's why.
When I chew the beans, can you hear it?
No,
but,
Okay. All right.
but anyway,
Thank you.
so the 6 kids.
What did
Um,
I heard both.
why was the dream to have that? It started because this is how things happen. Like, you can dissect this conversation. We should do that scientifically. Like, we'll go back and like even make a cartoon out of it. It was because she talked about West Virginia.
Right.
West Virginia then made my brain do the fucking inbred thing. And then she
And then
defended
they're
the
all
inbred
racist.
thing, which made my brain talk about the inbred people on YouTube, which then made my brain talk about us eating shrooms. And see, it all makes sense now. It makes
It's
sense.
very
when you break it
tangential,
down.
right?
Yeah.
You
Right.
should be really proud of yourself because normally we don't get to the shrooms conversation until at least 50 minutes into the podcast.
That's true. Chris does talk about how I do bring up shrooms in every episode.
Somehow we get to the
I
shrooms
find a
portion,
way.
and that's when I know.
Because I think
need to eat the pot.
eating shrooms and not like crazy, like maybe just micro dosing, like not
Yeah.
a whole crazy amount. I think that eating shrooms at least a handful of times a year is good for the soul, and it's great for your mental health.
Yeah, I think the studies on it have shown it. Like I think
there are studies now. Yeah. And
yeah.
you know what? That's a fucking guest I'm gonna have on, Chris. I have a friend of my sister who gives, like, I think he gave a TED talk about shrooms. So we need to have that.
We gotta have that.
Sounds
guy.
like a guy who knows how to
Definitely
get some
have that.
shrooms.
Yeah. Oh, buddy, you best believe it.
I remember when they
I hope Paul
declassified.
Parizek isn't watching this. He's gonna start beating on my door one of these days. Be like, look, we're friends and all, but I gotta draw the line somewhere. You're way too open about this.
Right.
Do you guys lag? Did you guys lag?
Nope. We're good.
We're
Oh,
good.
okay. Sorry. You just
so,
slowed
yeah,
down on my end.
To get
Okay,
it
so
on
6 kids back on the
get
track.
on track.
We need to get
You're
back on the
West
track.
Virginia. You moved with your parents, large families.
Yes. So we moved to the Midwest when I was like 5, and then we would just go back home and visit. And I loved, like, we still do it. I do it with my own kids. We go back to West Virginia and visit family, and we just had family in. I mean, it is. I love it. You know what I mean? Like when you're, it's just.
Do you like the banjo? Do you like
No.
banjo music?
No, they are not. Okay, no. All right, let me
I'm
clarify.
just asking. I'm just wondering. Okay, so this isn't Appalachia.
It is
This is-
Appalachia, but it's basically like a little bit outside Pittsburgh. Wheeling, West Virginia is up in the Panhandle,
Yeah.
and it's like
I know exactly where
so
that
they're
is.
like steel mill out.
Steel workers
know,
and stuff.
right.
Yeah, it's just a blue collar. Yeah,
Right.
It's not
yeah.
coal miners. It's steel workers. They're way
Well,
smarter.
They are
Yeah.
there is coal mining there too, but they're but like I had like my dad out of high school worked 6 months in the coal mine, but he was 6'4", and so
Oh, horrible.
that's how I was really tall. My brother, but like my
Heather is just horny a
dad's-
lot. Says Vicky Schuler Williamson. This must be one
Oh,
of your friends tuning in.
yeah, she is. That's a shorter answer.
You can tell by
um,
the beans.
I don't know
So-
why I thought eating beans would. I just was so hungry. Okay, so it just I love my family. I love I love the stories of my parents growing up in a big family. I loved
Mhm.
and every time we went back there, it was a happy place. It was, got to see all my cousins, but it was kind of isolating because here in the Midwest, it was just me and my siblings, and there are 4 of us, but the age ranges. Like my eldest sister is 12 years older than me. The next one is like 5 years, and my brother is 4 years younger than me. So we were spread out, and it just felt very lonely.
Not a lot of hanging out together.
Right.
because you're so far
And,
apart,
we're
yeah.
close. Like we all still live in the area.
Yeah, you
We,
probably didn't fight a lot because of the age difference.
Oh no,
you
shit,
did?
No, we did fight.
Really?
Yeah, yeah. Oh my god, my sisters put 2 holes in one. I mean, the fighting was crazy. Oh my god. Okay, so you know that. So this will tie into it. But remember that. Okay, it just came out, and it's called like oh my god, it's about the cult, like Cinnamon.
Cinnabon, yeah, a lot. It is really cultish.
Somebody
People
knows this. Cinna
There's a
something.
lot of Cinnabon apologists out there.
It started off as like a based on like an Alcoholics Anonymous. It was basically like these
I
people had nowhere to go.
I think I kind of know what you mean.
Okay, so I've only seen.
Was it like commune or cult? A debate between
Yes.
commune or
Yeah.
cult?
A cure or cult or something like that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I saw like half of that, but the part I stopped watching and I want to go back to it. I just had other things to do.
Sure.
I couldn't finish the episode. Was they had this part where it's called the game where they start yelling like truths, like hard truths at each other. And it's just like they have video of it. It's crazy. And then they were talking about the kids that grew up in that facility or with their parents who were members, and they all got along and stuff, except the kids started doing the game and they started yelling insults and stuff. And it just got, and I'm like, oh shit, I got to come back and explore this. Cause I think that's like me and my siblings. Like we would, we were latchkey kids. So we, until like after 5:30, there were no parents to, oh my God, my brother and I.
So there was that like 2.5 hours after school.
Or it's like Lord of the Flies.
Yeah.
Where we were just, yeah. But that's also, I think, just normal kid stuff too. Like nobody, like.
Well, I mean, it gives you some sort of form of independence on some level.
It makes you realize like your strengths. Like I know I'm not a fighter, but I'm a shit talker really well. Like I can avoid physical conflict by just barking a lot.
Yeah.
And then my tube. So anyway, that was unrelated to why I had 6 kids. I had 6 kids so they could verbally abuse each other. No.
Yeah. I was hoping that I would have a house full of hard truth telling.
But no, you said like, did we fight? No, we fought. Yeah, my brother Brian, like I was a senior, he was a freshman. So we were close enough to where teenagers.
That was me and my sister. Yeah. That was actually the last. Me and my sister fought like cats and dogs, and that was the last fight we had was when I was a freshman. She was a senior.
Oh God!
Because up until then, and even at that point, because I was a late bloomer, I was still really small then. But she like outweighed me by a lot. She was way bigger than me, and she just hold me down and fucking do the spit
kick
drop
the shit
thing.
out of you.
And she would, oh, she was horrible. Like at one point, I chased her, like she'd do that, and then I'd lose my shit, and then she'd run away. When I put a hole in her bedroom door with a baseball bat when I was like 10, and I swear to God, that door I was gonna hit her in the head. Like I was trying. Like, she shut the door and saved her life. I was gonna kill her. Like that's how much she tormented me.
My brother did me. He was a flipping kindergartner, and I was like in 3rd grade, and he would hold my head on the bus down in the seat in front of me. He was so strong, and I couldn't overpower him. Fucking 5-year-old.
Yeah, and how horrible is that?
Oh my God, I hated him.
And so you lose your fucking mind, right?
I'm gonna tell Dad. He's like, I don't give a shit.
I just saw. Looking back, I remember my ex-wife at one point talking about how I hear Kill Bill music, and that's where that comes from. Like. Because I jumped in the car, a guy was trying to steal my car out of my driveway, and I jumped in the back seat, and she was like, "You're the only person on planet Earth that would jump in the car with a fucking car thief."
Yeah,
like in the act of stealing the car.
I've been there. I've gotten in a fight with.
She's like, you just hear Kill Bill music, you just react.
I know. It scares me when I get like that.
And so my freshman year, we were fighting over the phone, and I was supposed to get the phone at 9:00. And she was on the phone. It's like 9:05, and I'm like, Mom, like she's just talking to her friends and shit. I'm trying to get some ass. Like I'm trying to call girls. Like she's just fucking. Oh, you want to fucking at the student council meeting tomorrow? I'm the senior board president, and we're gonna talk about. And I'm trying to fucking get my Barry White voice on, But anyway, so she turns and fucking hits me on the top of the head with the phone. She just goes, bam.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. And my sister wore glasses. And so this was the first time in my life I ever actually just punched her in the face. And I just fucking drilled her right between the eyes and split her glasses in half.
Fuck.
And she just started bawling like, "Wah!" And wanted my dad, like went and told my dad how I punched her. My dad was like, well. About fucking time. I've been telling you for years it was going to happen. You wouldn't listen. There was one other time where we were on the couch together. Like we were fighting. And she did that thing. Had me going crazy again. and he put us on the couch together next to each other and was like telling us to chill out. And we're both just sitting on each end of the couch. And I just waited and waited. And after about, I don't know, 45 seconds or so, I just stood up and fucking kicked her in the face like as hard as I could. It's my whole leg. This is like I'm like 10 years old. And I remember my dad just going, ooh.
See, I feel like your dad was just like, it's not worth it to get involved.
No, my dad was just like, every time something like that happened, he was like, it's about time. He knew that she fucking tortured me.
He was letting Bill do the work for him. He was like,
the oldest,
secretly.
My younger brother learned how to wrestle. I hated that because I could fight okay on my feet, but when he got me on my back, I'm a turtle. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God,
Totally.
there's nothing
Well,
so like
if you've ever met Mark, I mean, he looks like a turtle. So
But yeah, I mean, okay, so fast forward, do you remember a moment in time where you decided I'm gonna have
or was it a decision ahead of time, or was it just a matter of
were you
as you were
playing
going along, you were
did
like,
you play like
you know
MASH or cootie catcher thing and you were like, this has got to come to fruition, like it was biblical?
No, I remember being jealous of the Kritzmeyers who lived up the block from us. They had 5 kids and they were all relatively like within, 5 or 6 years. You know what I mean? Like they were all, and I just remember thinking that was pretty cool. And it was one more than us. And so there was a number like, to beat.
So you were trying to get more championships than Kobe.
And the Kritzmeyer, right? So I always thought 5, I'm like, I kind of like, I love that. I missed that. I love that.
The 6th one was an accident.
Well, no.
An accident?
No. The first one was, but the
one of them's got to be. I was gonna say.
I mean, I don't feel like none of them are an accident. The end result can happen, so it's not like it's a real accident.
The first one was just preemptive. It was like
let's get it out of the way,
right? So growing up, I knew like I was kind of jealous of 5, and I had that kind of in my head. And then when I started dating Tate, and as we were dating, we're talking about kids, and he always wanted a big family because he's an only child. So, and he only has 2 cousins. So he has a small family. The idea of having a large family to him was nice. And so we always talked about having a big family, and
he like grew up with no company. Like
but he doesn't mind it. Like he never felt jilted. He has, he has close friends from his childhood. They still friend anyway. So, he didn't feel like he was, but the idea of having kids to him was good. Not that he was like, I don't think he was lonely, but
he just hasn't shared that trauma with you yet.
Right. First time the kids started fighting, he was like, "This was a fucking
we'll get into that. We'll get into that part later. But
what were we thinking?
After 3, oh, sorry.
Yeah, after 3, go ahead.
We thought we would take it then. Okay, so we had 3 kids, and then I was like, okay, the idea of just having a number of children is silly. Like we knew we wanted a big family. Somehow I had 5 kind of to start. But after 3, we're like, we'll just see how it goes one by one. Like let's settle with 3 now that we're outnumbered. And, then 4 came. And then we're like, okay, let's go for 5. 5 was a girl. We were going to stop at 5, but she was a girl and the others were boys. And then we thought being the youngest of all boys is going to be rough. So we want to give her a chance to have somebody like either a little brother or another sister, she can
at least dominate
right.
One person.
Right. Yeah. So she wasn't the youngest of all boys, and and then Lily turned out to be a girl. So then we were like, stop. So before I went back to work, Tate had a vasectomy. I was like, we are done. We're done. Well, so 6 was, we didn't decide to have 6 until 5 came along.
Gotcha.
And I don't know how that makes Lily feel. Like, you only had me so I can keep my sister company. It's like what this.
Oh my God, does she know that? Have you told her that?
I think we. I should make up a better thing. Like one of your siblings had cancer, and we couldn't find a donor. We needed a kid for the extra liver or something, the kidney,
Listen, here's the deal.
or the bone marrow. It wasn't that.
Here's the deal. Everybody's gonna have trauma. Everybody's gonna have childhood trauma for some reason or another. It might as well come from the people that love you.
That's right.
I mean, that wasn't the only reason, but it was for like, okay, it did not feel like the family was finished. Like
Sure.
it did feel like,
Yeah.
know,
I understand.
yeah.
She was but so maybe a more accurate description would be like you were the final piece of the puzzle. Nothing complete.
That actually could save me a lot in copays if I just maybe.
Yeah,
that's what
I
you
think
need.
you're right. See, this is why we do this podcast. As much of a
Or we can
fucking
just
idiot
bring
as I
Lily on
am, I
here.
usually come up with a good nugget every once.
You were the final
Really on here. We'll get her straightened out.
Oh, you want me to? I'll go grab her right now. It'll be a shit show.
So then, okay, so you had 6. Are you? I mean, how do you cope with that mentally? Like, how is your mental health like now versus at any other given time in your life?
Probably more self-aware, and that's also frustrating because it's like,
like going back, like, damn, 20 years ago, I wish I would have had this much.
I don't think
Like,
I
do you
would
think
change
maybe
it.
you fucked up your older kids more than your younger?
Oh,
Like
for
you're a better
sure.
parent now, or whatever.
I think so. I think I am a little bit more flexible. I think, yeah, and I think every parent like that. So I don't think it's like the number. Like how does having a big family affect my mental health? I don't know that it does. Like I don't think the number of them. I think I'm just more like my executive functioning is shot anyway. You know, like I'm so ADD and OC. You know, it's like all
What
over
does
the
that
place.
define? That
classically.
define executive functioning.
Oh, like being able to fill out
Be in charge,
paperwork on
like
time.
take charge, like
Right.
be able to take charge.
Pay my
that's what that
taxes on
sounds like.
time. Pay
Yeah.
any, you know, like doing any sort of
Like why Tate had
required
to-
routine.
Like
So
why
that's-
Tate had to set up for you to be on this podcast.
Yeah, but that's also because like this is all he's got this set up for himself anyway. So I don't have.
He just
This
didn't
is
want
his-
he just didn't want you to fuck it
Right,
up.
exactly. Like I can't touch the good shit. Right, I'm not.
That's
But
why he
yes.
was just adamant. He was like,
I'll
no,
set it up. Just leave
no,
it
you
alone.
can't hear
Right.
yourself in your head. No, you can't hear yourself in your headphones. Don't touch anything.
Right. But like, so the anxiety of dealing with the kids in their school, the teachers and the personalities, and not like that whole, there's anxiety dealing with, which not maybe the OCD. The OCD is something.
How do you
know,
cope with the anxiety though? What do you do?
Oh, well, when I take it, Lexapro, I gotta go get my prescription refilled. I gotta start taking it again. But yeah, SSRI is very helpful.
Well, let me ask you this: 6 kids. What are the age differences from the oldest to the youngest?
Oldest is 26, youngest is roughly like 14 next week, so 12
Okay.
years. Yeah.
So 12 years. So at some point there, you had maybe 6 kids that were in activities. You had to juggle all of that all at the same time.
Oh no,
That's
she
surely-
discouraged
Yeah.
them. She actually wanted them to do as little as possible so that she wouldn't experience any of this anxiety she's talking about.
Well, it's weird. Like, I
you know
feel
what?
like
We've
Oh.
got all these movies you can watch. Like,
My kids could quote like Austin Powers at the age of 3, but
That's
But
not
I
bad
have-
quality.
that right. But
That's
I didn't.
no,
I
not
never
at all.
got him into. I never got him
anyway,
into
activities.
wrestling.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Oh,
So
No.
how do you I mean, I had 4 kids. I had 2, and then my wife and I got together. We had 4, and we found ourselves stretched thin. So 6 kids. How do you manage that and maintain a healthy relationship with your husband?
oh, it's yet to be seen. I mean, we've been together 30 years, and we're not. It is a fucking day by day. I wish Robert Shaw could narrate it because I don't know. We're it's a constant.
Oh,
We are never sitting back going, we got to figure it out. It is a constant struggle to figure out and get our shit together.
Translation is we don't have a healthy relationship. It's just codependence at this point.
Oh my God, you're absolutely right. Okay, I'm leaning into it because there's some point like we're both like around 50, right? You know,
Yeah.
I have never mowed my lawn. I've never had to do it. There are a couple of things I've never ever had to learn how to do, and part of this is like, like we have gotten into fights, and there has been the threat of divorce thrown out and stuff like that. And then when I go through, as quickly as we throw the thread out, you realize how much work you would have to do to I'm like, oh shit, I'd have to file out a form to do it. Nah, fuck it. Just fine. Even if it was amicable, even if we had nothing to split and no discussion over anything, you know what I mean? Like, we agreed on everything.
Yeah.
Just the fact that, oh God, it's $35 to file. Yeah.
My parents always said we don't want to get divorced because neither one of us wants the kids.
Right. Whoever leaves takes the kids.
My dad once started making a lot of money, and he was finally getting successful. And I remember vividly, there was a knockdown fight in the garage, and Dad said something like, why don't we just get a fucking divorce? And my mom said, if you think I'm leaving now when we got money, and I stayed around when we didn't have shit, you're fucking crazy. She said.
Oh, no shit.
Dad started laughing and the argument was over, and I was like, oh, thank God.
It's funny though, seriously though, do you think that there's different levels of when I was getting divorced this last time, and even you remember when we were, I know it's my second divorce.
No, just I'm so sorry.
I know you're looking back. I know Heather's known me through everything and known what's gone on all the time. So Heather knows. So the times that when we were separated before, and then 7-8 years later we finally get divorced or whatever. Heather's been around, known all of it. So, there were times, because I was the one I didn't want her to leave. There were times where I was trying to obligate her like that. I was trying to remind her of, oh, well, this isn't going to be easy, Oh,
right.
And if you're talking about a healthy relationship, nobody wants to be with somebody that's staying just because it'd be harder to leave. You want them to stay because they love you,
right?
But if we were married, that threat would work on me. I'd be like, you're right. You're right. Thanks for the tip. I'm just going to go to bed early then tonight.
Oh my God. I could manipulate you as a wife so easily.
Oh, totally. I
would just become a sociopath.
I'd have a Stockholm decision for in 5 minutes. If we were, I'd be like, man, you have a bidet? I'm in.
Yeah. I swear by the bidet.
I swear by the bidet. With the fucking day that bidet breaks, we're done.
Oh, they're only $40. I'd get another one, boo.
Man,
Amazon. He'd have one in 2 days from Amazon.
Nice.
I got a backup. My girlfriend gave me.
I was
one.
just gonna say,
got
I bet he's got a backup.
Nice.
Yeah. Fuck yeah, I got a backup. I thought about installing it on in the bathroom on the main floor.
Yeah.
But then I was like, it would be wasted. I have the bathroom up by my room. My brother lives with me now.
Yeah.
So the main floor bathroom is basically his, and then if there's a guest or whatever, but I totally only shit in my bathroom because that's where the bidet is.
Right.
And I don't think he's going to use it. It'd be wasted on him.
Right.
And there's a part of me that wants me to put it in there. Because here's the other thing. You don't fucking shit at other people's houses. That's not cool unless you got Crohn's or something.
I have Crohn's.
I know you have Crohn's.
I
know you have Crohn's, and that's why I said that. It's okay if you shit at my house. I have poopery.
But here's the thing.
I
carry that with me.
That's what I'm saying. You carry it with you because you're courteous when you shit at people's houses.
But at home, the kids are like, "Shut the fucking door! What is wrong with you? That is gross." Ugh.
But yeah, so I'm not gonna waste the bidet on the main floor. Like a part of me wants to put it in there just for like people and be like, look, it's life changing because I like to try to get them to use it. But I also don't want to encourage people to shit at my house.
That's true. But women will use it either way.
That's true. Well, no, see, women can only use if you have both. I only have the asshole spray.
Oh well,
there's no vagina spout on mine.
It's like millimeters apart. All you have to do is like
scooch a little
bit, and you can like hold on. Oh, there it is.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for explaining the female anatomy to me a little better.
I'm just saying that just because you have an asshole doesn't mean that I can't adapt to it.
Your guys' taints are shorter than ours, right?
I have no idea.
They have to be. It makes sense. Like,
I don't know. I don't know how that makes sense. I don't know.
Where I feel like I need to call for a break.
Yeah, you want to take a break? You don't want to talk about taint, Chris?
Yeah, that'll be.
Are you gonna have to go to confession and?
No, I'm not. No, I'm fine.
Tell the Lord that you thought about taints too much.
No, but I don't know that I've used that phrase before, but.
No one's ever asked the question, are your guys' taints shorter than ours?
No, never.
Well, I've never asked it either. That's why I'm asking right now.
It probably is. It probably is.
It just makes sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. I think so. I have to go look at Pornhub now.
Get a mirror.
Said, yeah, get a mirror. It's fine, but we have to look at both taints, Vicky.
We need a control and a.
Yeah, we need a control group.
Vicky, pop that beaver up and send me a shot with like a ruler next to it.
Oh God,
you do. I love you. What were?
I don't know. I'm gonna take a break here. I think this.
You said you were the.
Take a break. I know. I've completely went off the fucking tracks at this point. I have no control over the entire train.
Well, you're never supposed to. Just don't try. How many times have I told you expectations are the enemy of peace?
I know, right? I totally get rid of them when I open this podcast. All right, we're gonna get a word from our sponsor, Revelton Distilling Company. Again, I seem to say this every episode. I'm sorry, Rob and Christy, that we're transitioning at this point, but this feels like a good time to go get some whiskey. So go ahead and hit up Revelton Distilling Company.
Why take the best corn in the world and make it into fuel when you could make it into whiskey? That's the question that launched Revelton, Iowa's most visible and fastest growing distillery. Owners Rob and Christy Taylor embrace the grain-to-glass philosophy, sourcing ingredients locally and overseeing on-premises production and bottling at their facility in Osceola. One sip, and you'll agree that Revelton's handcrafted whiskeys, gins, and vodkas are the best you've ever tasted. And with the launch of their rye whiskey, made with 100% Iowa-grown rye and corn, and their new bourbon coming soon, there's more Revelton to love than ever. Iowa's own Revelton Distillery. ReveltonDistillery.com.
All right, and we are back. And before the break, we were talking about taints.
Yeah, do you think that
Rob tempt her to take a picture?
Rob and Christy are
don't
can be like,
don't tempt me.
No more taint talk, or we're pulling our sponsorship. We're a classy operation over here at Revelton. Our building's nice. We have bidets in our bathrooms.
That's right. Oh God, I don't even know where to go. Bill, go ahead.
Well, so you said Lexapro?
Yeah. I've been on a few.
But okay, so what was your approach to going on Lexapro? Did you go like was that a physician thing? Do you go to therapy or
Hey Tate.
Tate, how did I get Lexapro?
Come here.
No, Mark, we do not want to see your taint. Mark.
I am interested to see. Okay, so Tate, can you hear? Come here. This is Tate. All right. So
Tate, he's still blurry.
He's blurry. Okay. Do you have did you want to I felt like there was a question that we. Oh, do you?
Healthy relationship.
Yeah. Do you think we have a healthy relationship?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
God! Oh, my God! Oh my God! I really
Yeah,
think you'd
yeah,
say
you're
that.
the one that's codependent, not him. This is what I was trying to explain to you. How many years I've been telling you that Tate's a living fucking saint.
He says you're a living fucking saint.
He always
he
has. I've
doesn't-
always thought that.
He is. He's pretty. You know what? I loved. I think I married my version of Michael Gross from Growing. No. Wow. What's the one with Michael P. Keaton with Alex?
Oh, Alex Keaton.
Or Alex P. Keaton.
Yeah.
Michael
Family
J.
Ties.
Fox.
Family Ties.
Family
Family
Ties.
Ties.
Yes. Yeah. When we
Michael
met.
J. Keaton.
Michael J. Okay. When we met, he was working. So he was a broadcast journalism major up at UNO, and he worked at the local, like the campus public, like PBS station.
Yeah.
And then so, but it was like I always liked that show growing up, and then it wasn't until I was older I was like, holy shit! I think I nabbed my zaddy.
Yeah, but I don't think he's that kind of nerd. Like
Nate?
he's a way more laid back nerd than like.
Oh,
Alex
right.
P. Keaton was always like trying to tell people how stupid they were.
Oh no! I met his dad. I met his dad.
Oh, I got you.
I met
Dad
the
was a
dad.
His
Okay.
dad
Yeah, the dad was a hippie.
So his dad tries to tell you how stupid you are all the time.
His what? No, his dad was cool.
Oh, you're talking about the Family Ties dad. The dad.
Dad is
the
Timmy.
dad on
I
Family
got
Ties.
Right.
Hey,
I thought
Right.
you were talking about Michael J. Fox.
Oh no! I don't know. He's out
Okay.
of my league.
Oh yeah.
I knew that at 12. I went right in for the dad on that show. I was like, damn, Michael Gross.
Yeah, we should probably dig into those issues. What did your dad do to you?
Nothing.
But he did, my sister, and I've
I
always
should.
been
I
jealous.
Don't lie.
I always
Don't
wondered
lie.
why you
You
didn't
were
love
from West
me enough.
Virginia.
I'm not kidding. There was a couple teachers that in our high school that later got in trouble for that I kind of had a crush on, like you have every. And then it turned out they had like inappropriate, and I was so pissed. I was like, "Motherfuckers! I would have kept my mouth shut. You could have. We could have had so much. Nothing.
Yeah,
I'm so pissed.
yeah. There's something in there. Where?
I know. I don't know. My dad was. I mean, I had healthy. My dad had 3 girls and then a boy, and I think he always kind of treated us like he raised us like boys. Like he didn't. He wasn't. I guess I'm.
Like Marla, you guys are a bunch of Marla hooches.
He wasn't upset that we were. Ah, there he is.
Oh my God! Stop it! She's getting wet. Turn it off.
Oh my God.
Your fucking pants are
You see?
soaked, dude. Turn it
The older
off.
he gets, the more
He
he
does
looks
look like him.
He
Oh my
does look like
God.
him. I know it's
I
weird.
didn't even think about I wasn't thinking about the looks at all.
No, that's what I'm saying. He grew into the look because now Michael
yeah.
Gross is like has no hair. No,
That's
my dad didn't
hilarious.
do anything. That's so gross.
No, I didn't mean. I don't mean your dad necessarily, but
Oh, just like
saying,
any like adult figure and
yeah, like
No.
I'm not trying to suggest you were sexually assaulted or anything like that.
I guess I had to like literally
I'm
answer
saying,
the question.
I'm saying like where your brain goes there for a reason. So
I don't know. There's not. I mean, I had
Yeah.
My dad had hot brothers.
but you never had a crush on that guy. You were just saying that guy looks like Tate.
No, I had a crush on
You
the dad
did.
from Family Ties. Yeah,
You did growing up.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm trying to dig into.
I don't know why.
would
I
that
don't
be?
know why. And like the priest didn't do anything at church.
Were you Catholic?
Yes. I didn't go to Catholic school though. And we had and our priest was almost like that kind of figure. He was tall.
Well, you're
and
not a
skinny.
boy.
I'm not a boy. I'm probably
The priests only do things to boys.
God. No, they did it to women too. That's just not as salacious.
Yeah, but they're called nuns.
That's
No.
a whole nother thing. I do love me some lesbian nuns, though. I think lesbian nuns are
that's some hot
the
porn
shit.
for sure. That is
Oh my
some hot
God. No,
porn.
you want some militant bitches who get shit done? Lesbian nuns. They are not putting up with anything.
They're
No.
getting straight to the point.
No, they're getting straight to the point, feeding the hungry, taking care of shit, telling the
Yeah.
Vatican to fuck
Getting-
off.
Yeah,
Go ahead, deregulate us. Oh, you're not going to give us the $50 this quarter, you sons of bitches. No,
We're gonna go back to the convent and stick that crucifix right up your cooter.
Now I do have to go to confession.
you do. Are you Catholic?
Yes.
Oh my God! But I don't think I said anything sacrilegious. I'm just saying.
No.
You know.
Oh, Chris
No.
doesn't care like
All
that.
I said
No,
was
I don't
my
care.
priest didn't
Yeah.
molest me, and I
No, I
love
don't
know. He's
lesbian
a-
nuns.
No, yeah, Chris is like,
I'm the most liberal Catholic you'll meet.
yeah, they're
Yeah.
all,
And I
they're
think
all-
my parents are like that. My parents, like Jesuits, you know, like
Yeah.
the social
they're all
justice
really,
Catholic.
they're all really good hypocrites, all of them. They're all really good.
I think that's why I didn't get fucked up, is because my parents, and my dad had a saying. He's like, the priest is only the priest when he's on the lector, and he's off the lector, and he's a normal man. And I think it was his way of saying, like, they're not infallible, they're
Right.
not, they're not,
They're
and
human.
but I don't even think he understood. I mean, my dad passed away in '99 before all this shit came out about all of
The
it, and
Catholic Church, yeah.
right. So if anything, I think if he had heard anything antidote, you know what I mean? Like, you just,
He would have been one to kind of brush it under the rug as being bullshit or whatever.
No,
because it wasn't-
no, I think he would have been like, I think what he was saying is I don't care if you're a priest,
nobody's perfect.
don't
Don't-
trust anybody. No, it was more like,
yeah. So he was
yeah.
saying he's still, when he's not a priest, he still can be stranger danger, more or less.
right. But
Right.
he wasn't right. Exactly. And it was
Don't
his,
put them on a pedestal. They're not perfect.
I think
Right.
a really good
Yeah.
thing to say to your kids when they're growing up, and anybody, maybe somebody out there that hears this, maybe it'll help if they have kids right age. A buddy of mine said this to his kid, and I remember him telling me, and so I applied it because it's perfect. Especially as someone who, got assaulted as when I was a child. Like, you, if an adult tells you not to tell your parents, then you should probably tell your parents.
right. Yeah.
Like, that was a really good, like, I remember saying that to my son earlier. Like, if some adult tells you that you shouldn't tell me something, that you can't tell me something, especially if they tell you can't tell me because you get in trouble, then you
Right.
definitely should tell me.
Yeah.
And you probably won't get in trouble, but they will.
Right. That's good. That's solid.
Yeah,
I think
because
what I told my kid was, if anybody fucks with you, I will murder them. So
that
no,
works
just kidding.
too.
No.
Yeah.
No, because I think that has the opposite effect. My
No,
sister,
exactly,
yeah,
because they don't want to be responsible for that.
for somebody's
Exactly.
death. Right.
You got to
Yeah.
be careful with that too, for
Right.
sure.
My sister
But
actually.
the thing is, it took me years to tell my parents about it.
How old were
like-
you when it happened?
5,
Oh my
6.
God, who did it?
an old man in our neighborhood. Yeah.
What did he do?
This is why we're friends, Chris.
That's so gross. I'm so sorry.
This is why we're
I'm so
friends.
sorry.
Um,
Hold on.
Oh God.
so but looking back on that, it took me years to tell my parents because of the shame and getting in trouble.
Right.
And the shame that I felt, because I've talked about it on here before. And maybe at some point maybe we should do an episode where we really kind of focus on it, and maybe we can have a survivor for a guest or something.
Right.
Because when I talk about it, I'm always careful, and one of my coping mechanisms as I got older was I didn't have it as bad. Like, I didn't get like raped, You know what I mean?
Right. Like you're quantifying it to comparing it to somebody, like
people had it worse.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean?
I wasn't in the Holocaust, at least.
Yeah, exactly. But as you get older, you understand the trauma that you shouldn't disparage your own trauma. I mean, you shouldn't weaken it.
Yeah.
When you're trying to acknowledge it. But yeah, I mean, he just he was I was on my big wheel when we first moved into this little apartment complex. There was an old man coming out of his front door. I remember as I drove by on my big wheel. The next day, the manager of the complex came over, told my mom that old man came into the office and said that I ran over his foot with my big wheel. And he just wanted me to go apologize. I had to go to his house to apologize to him. And this is where I feel really shitty for my mom. And I think this is something she probably still deals with. We haven't really talked about it much, but I had to go apologize to that guy by myself. I had to walk over there by myself at 5 years old. But back then, that was what you did.
Right.
Make the kid man up and go apologize.
Yeah.
It wasn't. She wasn't doing anything wrong.
Right.
She
needed you to make amends because next year when the school sent you back to the place to sell fucking, when as a 6-year-old you're trying to sell like a catalog
I sell the world's finest chocolate to that guy.
right. You need to right. You don't want to
keep him on the client list,
Absolutely
right. That guy wants to play with your dick for a piece of chocolate. You let him. God damn it.
You got a limo party on the line here, fucking Bill.
Listen to me. One of these days, you'll let people play with your dick for money. It's the same thing. Except you'll pay them. At least at this age, you can get something out of it. Trust me, when you get older, nobody's going to pay you to play with your dick. This is the closest you're ever going to get to somebody paying you for these services.
You're going to age out of this cuteness really quick. You're going to lose your 75 to 100 demographic. They're dying off. You're getting older. Oh my God.
You're 3 years from Peach Fuzz. Nobody's going to want to lay a hand on you.
Customers.
So this guy, the manager of the apartment complex was like, "Oh yeah, Mr. Turner's great. He gives everybody the kids candy and everything." So when I went and apologized, he gave me candy.
Yeah.
And said, "Come back anytime." So I came back, got some candy. Then the next time he would make me, like, one time I walked in and he was just in his tidy whities. And he's just sitting there in the chair. And see, I know Chris is going to get uncomfortable, and I'm sure there's people in our audience that are going to get uncomfortable, but I don't care because this happened to me. So if you have a problem with me laughing about this when I tell this story, you can fuck off. Seriously, anybody that has a problem with me. I am not making light of anyone else's trauma. This is my trauma.
I don't think you are.
Right.
I know. But I want to make it clear because I can see people, I can hear, I can understand if somebody were watching this thing, I was making light of it. Right. And I am making light. I'm making light of my trauma because this is how I cope with it. So people can fuck off if they don't like it. Anyway, one day I walk in and he's in his tidy whities and he pulls his dick out and he's not like necessarily jerking off, but he's like,
God.
He's like pulling the foreskin up over the head and back, and he's like, he's acting like he's doing a trick.
Yeah.
So he's like,
God. Where's the rabbit?
Like, he's like, here's the dick trick. Can you do any dick tricks, more or less? Like, he's asking me if I can do it.
Right.
So looking back, he's basically going, "Hey, let's jerk off together."
Right.
You watch me jerk off, I'll watch you jerk off. Yeah, let's go. And then this other time he and this is where the shame comes, and this is where I understand this from children and everything else. Actually, that incident was after this one. The one, so there was another time he he made me go into his room and sit on his bed, and he pulled a porno magazine out that was like a girl and a guy on a boat. It was a sailboat.
Right.
And there's a picture of her sucking this dude's dick. And he's like, does that look like fun? So I think he was trying to maybe get me to suck his dick. Or
gotcha.
or get me to let him suck mine. I think actually he was probably trying to get me to let him suck mine.
You lagged. Shit.
Probably. Oh, are you there?
Go back, because you lagged. I don't know. Yeah, I am, but you lagged.
What'd
Oh
you
my
miss?
God, you lagged.
Where was I? Where was I? The porno mag? The magazine?
No. Oh, we got up to where the girl's sucking the guy off, and he's like, doesn't that look like fun?
Yes.
And then I'm in suspense, and then you lag, and I'm like, oh, shit.
Well, I think he was trying to get me to let him suck my dick. I don't know that he was trying to get me to suck his. I think he was trying to get me to let him suck mine.
Gotcha.
And then so then he reaches in my pants and he's like,
oh God.
Hey, that feels good, doesn't it? And I remember saying yes.
Yeah.
And I remember it feeling wrong.
Right.
But that's like the first time somebody else touched your dick on purpose. Like,
right.
So it did feel good.
Right.
And that's where the shame came in, because that's the moment where I felt like I was doing something wrong.
Right.
So now I can't, when he tells me not to tell my parents because I'll get in trouble, I believe him.
Right.
Because you enjoyed it, or you thought it was good, and you don't want your parents to know that you enjoyed it.
Right.
Yeah.
And also, I also knew that it wasn't okay that a man did this.
Right.
I mean, I felt
100%.
that a man, it wasn't okay that it felt good when a man did it.
Right.
You know?
But clearly, and you know that you weren't his first victim, and he,
of course not.
He was grooming and had the whole playbook down.
Yeah, I mean, he had the whole fucking every kid in the apartment complex. Not every kid, but it took a long time, and we went back. We went back to visit, as a family, because that's where my stepdad's mom lived. We went back to. We only lived there for like a year, and this was in Texas, and then we moved back. But we went back. I want to say it might have been a couple years. I wasn't too much older. I feel like I was still in elementary school, but I was older. And I still had never told my parents. So I know I was younger because I told my parents when I was like 14-ish, I think.
That's brave.
But we went back down to visit, and we went to the old apartment complex, and we had neighbors that we hung out with all the time. So we went and visited them. They were Melanie and Johnny. My mom's name is Tommy Ann. And Melanie be like, hey, Tommy Ann, make some of that Yankee potato salad. He was an old Southern. They were hilarious. Anyway, Johnny and they were talking to Melanie and Johnny, and I'm in the living room, like playing with the kids or whatever. And I overhear her tell my mom about Mr. Turner. She goes, yeah, Mr. Turner got arrested, and was telling her that he got arrested for, diddling kids and shit. I just overheard it. And she didn't say why. I just knew why.
Right.
Right. So I was old enough to know that. But then, later on, high school came, and I want to say going into eighth grade, the summer before 8th grade, I started having really bad anxiety attacks. And so then I think part of my anxiety attack was some of that shame, feeling a lot of that shame. But I remember going through that, like I was almost bedridden for a month before school started.
God.
Because I couldn't sleep, I couldn't eat. Everything I ate, I'd throw up. It all started in my gut, and I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know it was anxiety. I had no clue what it was. I thought there was something wrong with me, like I was nuts. And what it was I was coping with my own mortality. I was coming to the realization that I was going to die someday.
Oh my God.
That was like blowing my mind, that there's nothing I could do about it. And so I was so afraid. I was having anxiety attacks all the time. And then I became suicidal, not really suicidal, but contemplating suicide, because I was so afraid of death. I didn't want to be afraid of it anymore. I wanted to be over with.
So ideation.
Yeah.
And
And so that was fucking with me. And so I was constantly searching for reasons why all this was happening. And one of the reasons was like, man, I never told my parents about this thing. And by then I was old enough to realize it wasn't my fault.
Yeah. Good.
And I told my mom, and that's when she was taking me to the doctor. They thought maybe I had an ulcer. And I finally started telling them I was scared of dying and all this other stuff. So
Right.
all that played in. And this is why I love my stepdad. And it gets me emotional every time. I did not witness her tell him.
Yeah.
But she did. And she said that he said, well, it's a good thing that he didn't tell us because I would have fucking killed him. Yeah. So that always gets me when I think about it, because just knowing that
somebody
cared,
a man that didn't have to love you that much.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
and you've talked about him before.
Oh yeah, he's amazing. I was very fortunate that I grew up with 2 active fathers.
Yeah, that's awesome.
My biological dad is also amazing. My friends adore both of my dads. Like, and it's weird. Like, my circle of friends, most of them had daddy issues. Like, that was kind of all of our bond, was kind of a broken family environment in a way. Most of us had.
You lagged again. You lagged again. Go back. You said most of my friends.
Yeah, most of us had like a broken family or something of some kind. And then I have one friend, my only friend whose biological parents were together. It was like the most abusive, horrible Like he wishes they would have got divorced. He just lost his dad recently, and he's been having a hard time with it.
Yeah.
Because he hated his dad, but he loved his dad. He was like,
yeah.
He goes, he was so horrible to me, and he was so horrible to me, and he was such a fucking asshole, but I loved that man. And I can see the duality. I can see the battle happening inside of him every time he talks about it,
Right.
So, and then everybody else's parents were divorced. Like you talk about latchkey kids. Like I got a friend who his parents were divorced and his mom worked nights. So on the weekends when we were in high school, we went to his house, did whatever the fuck we wanted.
Right.
We just had to convince his sister not to tell on us. And so, there was that. Finally, Chris fucking drops one. Finally. Don't tell your mom. You're gonna get in trouble. We're here drinking and doing drugs, and you're gonna get in trouble if you tell your mom.
And by the way, can you find me like a guy in his 90s?
Yeah.
He's so fucked up. I'm so sorry.
Heather, now's about the time when you ask him, has he always grown up wanting 2 dads? That's
yeah. Yeah, somewhere in my childhood, I was like, maybe if I get 2 dads, one of them will touch my dick.
Nowadays people will just question whether or not your mom was in like a polyamorous relationship. Like, oh my god, the idea of having like 2 active fathers and with an active divorce going on is crazier than, oh, my mom just had 2 husbands.
Yeah. Right. No, well, both of them remarried. I had a pretty tumultuous relationship with my stepmom. Never really got along with her growing up. We get along great now.
Oh, that's good.
But
is she watching? Is she watching right now?
I doubt it. It. She might. I'm pretty sure my stepdad watches every once in a while.
Aww.
And he actually hates it when I say step. And the only reason I say step is to differentiate when I'm
between
talking
the two. Yeah.
The general,
right.
I don't know how. Like my siblings, like my sister, my older sister, we're the only ones out of my siblings that share the same 2 parents.
Right.
So when my sister and I talk to each other, we can call them both dad, and we can tell who we're talking about.
Right.
Oh, right. Yeah.
You can just tell by the inflection in the voice or whatever. And usually the way we've differentiated is my stepdad's last name is Adams, and one of my friends when I was in high school, he had grown a beard and nobody had seen him with a beard. One of my friends started calling him Grizzly Adams. And he used to he worked nights, and he used to tell us in the summers, he was like, there's going to be a big grizzly bear upstairs, and he's sleeping with one eye open. So if you guys, he's going to come down here, you know, blah blah blah. So usually we call him Grizz. So I have my dad and I have Grizz, you know, but for the sake of this, I have to say Step. So
Right.
Grizz, when you watch this, if you watch it, I'm sorry, but I just want people to understand I'm talking about two different people.
There you go.
Does Grizz have Riz? I know, so stupid. I'm so sorry. He's got
So anyway, so well, good for you. No sexual abuse.
yeah.
Are you jealous?
Way to make it all about you, Bill.
No. I mean, I guess the fact that I can laugh about having crushes on male, like
sure,
male is probably
no, I don't
luxury.
think that's gotta be. Yes, but like
feel,
that's so normal though. Like
right.
Just being honest about what. There's a million women out there that had the same feelings that just won't admit it.
Right. Like, and if they had broken that, I think that would have fucked me up. I mean,
sure.
I think,
but that would have been an emotional abuse thing. Like you would have been in love with them is what would have happened.
Oh yeah.
You would have been a toy and you would have been in love with them.
Right.
So when they were done playing with you, you would have been wrecked.
Yeah. Instead, my dad just let me date a series of gay men throughout high school.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, I was a theater kid. I didn't know, and this is the mid 90s. Nobody was out. And my dad could tell and wouldn't say anything. And I think it was his form of birth control. Like, oh, yeah, no, Alex is a really nice boy.
You stay out all night with Alex.
How many of them were gay?
God.
How many turned out to actually be gay? Okay. How many were just kind of feminine acting? Because it was the 90s and you just assumed everybody was gay.
Or how many
had a lisp or something?
One was
you actually turn gay. That's the real
thing. That's another good question.
Here's the thing. I was the last for at least 3 of them. I was the last woman they dated before they came out. And they used to call me the converter in college. Like my gay friends would call me the converter because they would I would
have sex with you.
No, as soon as they dated me, they would come out of the closet. So they would be like, and they would get excited, like, "Ooh, you should date this guy because we want him next."
Come out.
Can you recruit him to the other team?
No, see, I love I actually kind of love this because this is what I was telling my brother this today because I lived with gay dudes for a few years. And they're men. This is what people don't get. They're men. They're still fucking pigs. They still do say shit like that,
right?
Except they're talking about dudes, so it's okay. Like she's go date this guy. We want him to come out so we can fuck him.
Oh, right, yeah,
that's what they're saying.
Right, exactly, right.
And so, like, if a straight guy goes, "Hey, I want to fuck your friend," you're kind of a dick,
right?
You know what I mean?
You're misogynistic, yeah.
Right, and so like. Gay dudes are every bit as misogynistic, like not across the board, but it's just because they're fucking around with other dudes. Like all this shit's implied already.
I wish there was.
That's why I'm jealous. That's why I'm jealous of them. They can just get past all the bullshit and be like, "Dude, you got a hole. I got a hole."
Well, shout out to
do we
your
need
husband.
to really complicate this? Let's just fucking. We both have 98.6 degree bodies. Let's fucking stick our dick inside of those things and.
Oh, God. Shout out to your husband for resisting that temptation to.
Oh my God.
Oh my God. Has Tate thought about turning gay? We should.
I grilled him
after
hard.
about the 4th kid.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Okay. So how many of these guys that turned out to be gay did you actually have sex with?
None. Just dated. No, I was just a beard.
But even beards sometimes they still fuck their beard sometimes.
No, they didn't want any of that. And I was such, I was not. It should have been a warning, but like, since it's not like I had a relationship, like a normal relationship before any of these to know, like,
but how many gay guys how many gay guys have had kids in previous relationships and then end up being
that's true,
you know what
right?
I mean?
But I think also I was safe because I wasn't going to push the physical aspect, and they didn't want obviously that. Yeah, and I think I think
beard,
right. I think it was just like.
You think that was you just being self-conscious?
Me?
That you didn't push that? Yeah.
No, I just don't think I knew better. Like,
Okay.
not that
You're just naive. You were a church girl.
right. And not really. I mean, we went to church, but it wasn't like my parents were like anti. It was more
Yeah, but the value system was there. You thought God was watching. It was
right.
like,
Right. Yeah.
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 Like, I don't know. Like, I get that. Well, like, I have a friend who came out late who had a family.
Uh-huh.
Well, at least he has a family.
He still has it.
Yeah.
He came out and had to kill him.
Came out and that's fucking it. No, that's what these gay guys do to people. I'm telling you. No, so he was married, had 2 kids. We coached Little League together. His son played on the Little League team with my son. At one point, during the last year we were coaching together, he came out like on Facebook.
Yeah.
Like,
oh wow.
That's the place to do it.
Well,
right. Did he get like a
here's
newsletter?
the thing. Here's the
Not
thing.
next door first?
People have had that. I've had that discussion. Like people say, "Oh, that ain't the place for your dirt." Blah blah blah. Think about it from his perspective, though. He's the one coming out. First of all, he can do whatever he wants.
Right.
Secondly, how much easier is it to do that than make a bunch of individual phone calls?
Right.
Like,
Right.
How many people do you owe it to tell you're gay? You know what I
Right.
mean?
I used to think the same thing about like people putting up funeral, like when Facebook first came out, and then people started putting up like funeral. I was like, oh my god, like this is
It's an
a bit
easier
much
way
for.
to
But
reach.
now it is. It's
Yes.
just like the newspaper. It's like if you were going to
Yes.
put it on an announcement, the newspaper is
Yeah,
obsolete.
people used to read the obituaries every
Right.
day. That's how they found, oh, so and so died. I better go to that. You know?
Right.
Right.
Like
now it's
yeah,
yeah.
people don't necessarily do it for sympathy. It's here's the announcement. Or
exactly.
but like in his case, I remember his ex-wife had put on Facebook that they were getting divorced or that either separated or whatever, right?
Yeah.
I commented saying, hey, just if you haven't done counseling or whatever, to do it. Like, do everything you can. When you have kids, you should do everything you can to save it. But if you can't, you can't. That's even worse.
Right.
So I get it. And then he commented and he said, well, what she's not telling everybody is I'm gay.
And you're like, oh, got it.
Well, yeah. And he's like, they had an open relationship for so many years. And he was like, we just need to end the relationship so she can move on and have
right,
her own
right.
really good relationship that she deserves to have.
No, that's
So
really
it's
sweet.
Kind of an act of love in the end. And they're
Right.
still great friends, as far as I
Yeah.
can tell. And he's married to a guy now. I
Aw.
don't know if she's remarried. I know she's had a boyfriend for a long time. Anyway, that's neither here nor there. The point is, we're having our cookout at the end of the year with all the little leaguers, right?
Uh-huh.
And him and I are standing by the grill, and he was kind of saying basically like, yeah, I debated whether or not to say anything to you just because you were close enough, with coaching together and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But he said, judging from like some of the stuff you said on Facebook and everything, I figured you'd be supportive and I wouldn't have to worry about it. So,
Aw,
whatever. And I was like, okay,
nice.
cool.
Yeah.
But then he said, and so I asked him about the kids and stuff. I go, well, how, and he was like, oh, he goes, oh no, I'm not one of those queers that like just hates vaginas and just grossed out. He's like, we still had sex. And I was like, oh, so you're not gay, you're just selfish. I was like, you can fuck off with your sympathy. I'm not giving you any, you selfish motherfucker. Could have left all these girls to everybody else.
Man, I know bisexuals have it the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and
I know.
I mean, I've said for a long time, there is no one as a species that I know of that, well, at least seems to be outwardly happier than an out gay man. Like a gay man who is just completely out and not worried about it.
Right.
There's no one happier than that. Like they know who they are. How many of us go through our entire life having no idea who we actually are?
Right.
Like
yeah.
Some people, they finally found their identity and can be outward with it, and they're so happy.
Right.
And I mean, why disparage it? But
right. So it's just like absence of baggage is so much peace.
Jesus Christ, the gay couples that like have kids and stuff, like what the fuck's wrong with you? You guys got so much disposable income. Like That used to be like the advance. I mean,
You were
that's
free and
how-
clear.
dude, that is fucking 100% how I know it's not a choice, because I would be gay as fuck if it was a choice.
I always
It
think
would be
that they're the
so
more
confusing.
judgy parents, though. Like, oh, you really wanted your kids. Just back off on the fact that mine hasn't taken a shower in 3 days. All right.
Yeah.
Come on. Yeah. fucking like
Yeah,
the Anderson Cooper type of gay dad, you know.
Yeah. They're dropping the kid off at school with like suspenders and a little bow tie.
Right.
Your kid's
Yeah.
shirt kind of dirty because you don't
Right.
you didn't have a full white load.
Right.
And they're just looking at you like, mm-hmm.
Nice.
Mhm.
Nice. Real
Oh.
classy. You're real classy.
Real classy, good mom.
Real classy.
Good
Good.
mom.
Couldn't find a seersucker.
I almost
Come
bought
on.
I almost bought one.
I saw somebody wearing a seersucker dress and I thought, oh, that's a look that can come back.
You think?
I think so. I think that in the
seersucker
right way.
dress seems very first grade teacher.
Maybe that it was just a good picture. I was just vibing on it for a second. I don't think I can pull it off, but I do like. I think it's time for the the prairie dress is in now. I think seersucker is next.
I don't even
Gingham.
what's a prairie dress?
Oh, it's like a button down long sleeve collared dress.
Those are back in?
Since I think so, probably not.
Listen, just because you're watching westerns on TV
I don't
doesn't
even
mean
watch
people are
I
actually.
fucking have never seen an episode of Yellowstone. I don't
Me
even know
neither.
where I'm getting this from.
I
Yeah,
fucking
well-
hate Kevin
Except
Costner. I
I've
don't
got-
like Kevin Costner.
Really?
What?
Why?
Hold on.
Yeah.
How do you
Kevin-
hate Kevin Costner?
Kevin Costner
Uh,
seems like he's the type that should have a scandal behind him, a la Mel Gibson, but I can't remember what his is. Like I remember.
I don't think he does.
I think you're right. I
he's
think
pretty clean.
he just didn't show up to the Golden Globes one year, and some
He's
people
just
gave him some
fucking-
shit about it.
Okay, so here's why I don't like Kevin. I don't not like him as a human being.
Okay.
I don't like him as an actor because I don't feel like he has any range. I
Plays the
feel like he
same-
plays
Hmm.
the same exact guy all the time.
Oh yeah, I can see that. I know
No
what
matter
you mean.
what the
Yeah,
character, he's the same.
Right.
And that's okay. That's great.
right.
Like he's not a bad actor in the sense that he's not believable. He's
Right.
believable. You know, he's not a bad actor in that sense. But and like Bull Durham, I think, is the greatest baseball movie ever made. I love that movie. So like there's movies that he's in
Yeah.
that I like, but I don't
Better
like
than
him
Major League?
necessarily. Yes, Bull Durham is better than Major League.
Okay, we got to end the.
Dude, Major League completely ripped off Bull Durham.
What?
Oh my fucking God, watch it, dude.
I
Bull
haven't seen
Durham
it.
was, first of all, Bull Durham was first. Have you
Okay.
seen both movies?
Yes, I have.
Did Bull
Yeah.
Durham not have the fucking voodoo guy trying to put the cross on the bat doing that thing?
Okay.
Did Bull Durham not have the Christian guy?
What?
The Eddie Harris guy? Huh? Did Bull Durham
Yeah,
not
that
have that?
guy's not even close to the same.
The guy that got married on the pitcher's mound to the slutty girl? Huh?
Yeah, but
Did Bull Durham not have an aging catcher as one of the main characters? Huh? Was Bull Durham not about a guy playing in a fucking league way beyond his years? Couldn't believe he was fucking there on a shitty fucking minor league team. And then Bull Durham had that same guy playing on the shittiest major league team. Can't believe he's in the majors anymore.
It's
that
a
guy.
Tu Wong Fu Priscilla
Do
Queen.
you
of
want
the
me to keep
Desert.
going, Chris? Do you want me to keep going?
no. Okay. All right.
Did he have
Well-
did Bull Durham have a pitcher that threw really hard and was wild?
Yes.
Yeah, they did, didn't they? Kind of a juvenile delinquent. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any more? You want any more? God damn it, it was a fucking rip. I love both movies. I love Major League. I love it. But to say Major League's better than Bull Durham, no. And the other reason Bull Durham is better because it's more about baseball. It's more baseball centric
Okay.
than Major
That-
League is.
That's
More about the nuances, the superstitions, the things like
Yes.
that. So that's why I like it better.
okay.
Um
We got
anyway, Heather doesn't give a fuck about any of this.
Hey, It's the one movie I don't think I've seen all the way through.
but-
It has
but
Susan
yeah.
Sarandon, right?
Yes.
Yep.
And she's fantastic.
Yeah, I saw
Yes.
parts of it, and I just don't think I ever like when it was playing. I just never. It was before DVR, so I never caught
So,
it.
Susan Sarandon is one of my two old lady crushes. Her and Jamie Lee Curtis. I would
Oh,
I would bounce both of their heads off my headboard repeatedly.
Jesus Christ!
I'm ashamed to tell you who mine is. So
You gotta
Why?
say.
it's Reba McEntire.
Why are you ashamed of
Aw.
that?
I don't know, man. She's smoking hot. Because I've gotten
What's
a lot
the
of shit
shit
for that. I've
from
gotten a
who?
lot of shit for that. Friends.
I'd fucking hammer Reba McEntire.
She's not. She's known as like
These
like
fucking
a
guys are so
sweetheart.
full of shit, dude. Are you getting shit from guys for that? Because they're full of
Yes.
shit. They're full of shit.
If Reba McEntire came up to anybody and said, "You want to have a night of
Thank
sex?"
you. Thank you. That's exactly what I was about
Yeah.
to say.
I'm telling
Tell
you
those
right now.
motherfuckers, That's your argument winner right there. You mean to tell me
If she
Reba-
gave me
Reba-
candy, I'd be all over it.
if Reba McEntire walked in here in this room and said, "Hey, you so and so, I want you to fuck me," you would be like, "Nah, you're a fucking liar." Here. Maybe now when you're like in your 60s and you need to pop a Viagra or something. But let's say you pop the Viagra before she comes in the room. You're yes.
Right, right. At that
Like
point, if a dog walked in the room, I think
That's
you'd be
so
like, "I
fuck-
gotta
dude, yeah.
release this."
When I was 22, I'd have fucked Linda Cohn. I don't give a fuck. I didn't give a shit. My fucking hormones were so wacko, dude. I didn't fucking Jesus Christ, dude. You know why that scene in American Pie is so funny? When he fucks the pie, because it's real, it's true. When you're that age, you will fuck a pie. Like you will find something. Like when you're a virgin, you will find something to simulate a vagina the
God.
best you can.
Do you know what
Yes.
prisoners in the 1800s used to use?
Oh, jeez. What?
1800s?
Raw
did you-
bacon. Oh, I'll tell you how I know.
Oh, they fucked raw. Yes. How'd you find this one out?
Because I spent a night at the Villisca Axe Murder House with Daisy Curtis and Brian
Yes.
and Bendig and a couple other
Some
people.
of my favorite. These are people that
From the
work
Fun
at
Me
the
Up-
Funny Bone in Omaha, Chris.
And this is maybe, I don't
They're
remember
the
how many
best.
years
I
ago.
love these people.
This is
Yes,
at least
I-
5 years ago.
Was Jesse there too?
Yes,
Yeah,
That's
I
right,
thought so.
yes.
Yeah.
that's right. She was down there and she's from the Des Moines Funny Bone. And
Yeah,
we spent a night in the actual house. I'm
Mhm.
the only one that brought a cot. Everybody else just
Because you didn't want to sleep on the floor.
I didn't know how big it's really small and it's not
Yeah.
and there's an outhouse that people usually sleep in the out barn, but if you're brave enough you can spend so we're like
We're staying in the house.
we're staying in the house,
Yeah.
but there was no room for my cat and
I'm
nobody
afraid no ghost.
I didn't want to leave the group and sleep in the kitchen where I could have spread out a little bit more, so I crowded my fucking huge ass extra long cot around everybody's. Anyway, that's here. Okay, so but in the tour they were telling us about like the murder scene and
Mhm.
like how they found like everything about the murders, and the next
Mhm.
day they said the one thing that they didn't report in the paper was that there was raw bacon just everywhere, just dropped like in the weirdest spots, like in the bedroom and just pieces of raw bacon. And all the neighbors, when they discovered the bodies before the police even came, I mean, this is in the mid 1800s, so they or maybe late. I have no idea. I'm saying like late 1800s, early 1900s, whatever. This is okay. So the neighbors came, discovered this gruesome, this whole
Mhm.
family killed, and then cleaned up the mess,
Mm.
like all of it. So, can you imagine?
Wait a minute, though. How? Okay, so there was raw bacon everywhere. At what point did you learn that they fucked it?
The tour the tour guide said that the raw bacon was always really weird, except that somebody pointed out that in prison it was common for the prisoners to use it because it was the only thing that
To
the
jerk
bacon
off
grease.
with.
Right. It was so prisoners would use the raw bacon and just jerk off with it. That's
Do you
so
think they
gross.
cooked it after that?
Huh?
Do you think they cooked it after that?
I would hate to waste it. You know what I mean? I wonder.
Maybe that's where like the extra cured version came from.
Okay. All right. Right.
Because they're like, hey, you know what we learned in prison? That saltier bacon is really good.
Ever since Fred got out of prison, he just, I don't know. He said there was an extra umami somewhere inside, and he has not tasted in my.
It just ain't been the same.
Okay.
He's just been.
We got to wrap this
We
up.
watched
ladies and
Deliverance.
gentlemen.
We watched Deliverance, and he makes me squeal like a pig now, and I don't know why.
Oh, okay. We gotta wrap this
Yeah,
Oh,
up.
you
this is-
lagged
this is-
again.
This is
Oh no,
our-
where'd you come
No,
back?
you're okay.
Oh, you lagged again. I'm so
It's all
sorry.
right, Chris. We're
Oh,
wrapping
no,
it up.
no, it's happening again. Shit. I'm so, you keep
Are you there?
lagging, and I have no. Sorry.
Can you hear me?
I am
Can you
here
hear me
now, yeah.
Oh no.
Yep.
No,
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
fine.
yeah.
We're wrapping up anyway.
Yeah, that's
This
right.
is
We're wrapping
officially
up.
the longest episode we've ever had. I
It
think.
is. It is.
Yeah.
Heather.
Oh my
I'm
God.
sorry, Chris. I know you got to go to bed.
Did we tackle? Did we tackle mental
I
health?
don't
I
think
mean, on
we-
some level.
maybe on 10%, but that's totally fine.
It's
'cause
kind
that-
of
I
how
know.
it usually goes.
Listen,
We're a work in
this
progress. That's all I
podcast
can
is
say.
Absolutely, one of my favorite things to do is to just sit here and just watch the entire train go off the tracks. It's so great. I absolutely love it, and I do think that we help a lot of people. And Bill, I will tell you, last episode I had a very good friend of mine who is very knowledgeable in the Catholic faith and whatever,
Mhm.
and he listened to the episode and absolutely dug it.
That's great.
And then
Good.
said also that Bill might be a little crazy. And I said, yes, he is. So
I tell the younger comics all the time, like the best thing I think to do is just embrace your brain, like embrace the way your brain works.
Yeah.
And let it go where it goes. Like. I mean, how many pieces we couldn't have had any parts of this. Most of this conversation was an absolute blast, and we couldn't have had most parts of it if we didn't just embrace where our brains went. Like one
Right.
person has a thought and your brain clicks to something. And, we went from how'd you have 6 kids, Appalachian Mountains, to fucking inbred people
To-
on you fucking dolphins.
bacon masturbating.
And yeah,
Masturbating with bacon.
like this
I'm
is,
sure Brooks Reynolds really loves that.
oh my God, we're going to have to shout out to Brooks Reynolds.
Brooks, who was on Old Man Strength last night. So.
Yeah, triple cured. We're
That's
gonna
right.
bring out the Birkwood Farms triple cured bacon
Don't
Oh,
be throwing
shit.
Brookwood
with
Farms under-
extra
There goes that
Blank.
opportunity for a sponsor.
extra Bill Blank juice.
Okay.
You get
Heather,
Stinky
where
Merc.
can are you currently touring right now, or going out and doing any shows? And if so, where can people find you?
I have some. Well, you hook me up on or look me up on Facebook. Send me a message if your Facebook is. I've been getting like a lot of bots, so I don't know what people are real or not. So I'm on Facebook. I'm on Instagram at the Heather Jones. I'm on X, but I don't post anything. I just look at the local like police scanner. That's the only thing I follow. That's the
Nothing wrong
only
with
thing
that.
I follow on X is the local police
Like,
scanner.
oh my God, Elliot's on Twitter.
Oh, motherfucker. One of my kids showed up on Nextdoor. I was so pissed. I was so mad. I don't know. We have to, it's
Yeah,
not,
go ahead.
it's, one of my son got it. It was somebody put a ring thing up and it said, no, it was the ring. It sends to other
The
ring.
neighborhood, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So it was the ring, and the thing said, "Watch out for these hooligans." And it was my car in the background, and it was a brand new. It was like I'm like, oh, I'm gonna fucking kill him. It was my son and his friend told my son, "Stop the car real quick." And this kid went up. All he did was knock at the door with his shirt pulled over, and then did this, and then ran away. You know what I mean?
To
Didn't
be
do any
funny on the
damage.
Ring camera.
Right, exactly. So, wasn't vandals or anything, but it was my fucking car that showed up on the, so, it was like a gray Telluride. Nobody can, there's only like one in the neighborhood. I'm like, I'm going to kill him anyway. So that was, I don't know. But that was where the story
and
ends.
what happened to your mental health? You take some
I can
Lexapro.
say, I would say microdosing has its benefits, and I am glad it's
100%.
available.
And we have now hit the
For
part of the show where we
lots
ended
of
when we
mothers.
hit the
We
micro.
revisit the shrooms.
It's
Telling you,
mother's
dude.
little helper. We can't do Valium anymore. They've taken all the good shit away from us
Pharmaceutically,
pharmaceutically. I'm boycotting the word because they piss me off.
Yeah.
So let's just go back to Mother Nature. No, anyway.
I agree.
I yeah.
agree.
Where else? Oh, shows. Shit. Promotion. I'm jacking off a dolphin on the 25th.
That's gonna be the biggest ticket seller ever.
Shit, I'm booking tickets right now.
I've got okay, hold on. I have a show. I'll be at the Backlane Theater in Omaha on the 19th for a show called Power Hour. It's a great lineup. Everybody does a few minutes and it's just really fast and fun.
Hey, the next week, the 27th. What are you doing the 27th?
Nothing. That week before I have something.
Here we are scheduled.
Two shows at the Benson Theater, but do you have a show?
I have a show in Nebraska. I'll hit you up after. I need an opener. Yeah.
I would love that. Actually, here's the deal. I have family coming in on the 25th, and I have a show that night at the Benson Theater, but I'm only doing 5 minutes. However, the 2 nights before that, I'm headlining 2 shows, and my family is coming in. We're like, we really want to see you, and I have I'm doing headlining, and then the night they're there 5 minutes. I'm like, shit.
Yeah, well, they can come.
There you go.
It's like Fort something. It's basically Omaha.
Okay.
Fort
Calhoun.
Yes.
Fort Calhoun.
Why don't you schedule this shit?
Have you done it already?
You can have this whole conversation.
Yeah, we will. Go ahead.
Right in the fucking
Sorry. Yeah.
All right.
In the podcast.
Thank you, everybody, for listening. To
I love you, Heather.
Scheduling
I love
with
you.
Bill
Thank
and
you so
Heather.
much for having me. I don't want to clean my house.
To scheduling with Bill and Heather, where they talk about mundane schedules and where they're going to meet out to watch dolphin sex on YouTube. So, thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you.
We are.
It's okay. Stay on. He'll turn it off.
That's right. That's right. All right. Bill, you got to. Dare I ask? Do you have anything else before we go?
No, just that. Oh, him.
Yeah. No. Eat shrooms.
All right. There you
Eat
go.
shrooms. Be happy.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Have
I
a great
love
night.
you.
If you're still listening, you're absolutely fucking insane. But we appreciate it.
So sorry.
Have a great night.